Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about two camera systems, and in my opinion, why one camera system is better than the other. Now, as we all know, there are no perfect camera and there are no perfect camera systems. But in my opinion, we have to be very careful, because in many cases, camera manufacturers, they want to fool us, and they want to just rob us, in any way possible. So what I do usually, I will check each and every camera system, and I know what are my priorities, and I know what are my type of shooting, and what do I need from a camera system. And then according to that, I will get into a system or get out. Now, in my opinion, in this world, we have to use multiple systems. First I was a Pentax shooter, and then I got into I got into Nikon, and then I got to Sony, and then I got back to Nikon because I didn't really like Sony. Probably if you follow my channel, you will know what I'm talking about. And many people got very angry with me because of that, and they called me many names, because I left Sony and I was disappointed with Sony. Anyway, I want to explain to you in this video, because recently I got a Fuji camera, and I want to explain to you in this video why I think that the Fuji system is kind of better than the Sony system. We are talking about mirrorless cameras. We are not talking about DSLRs now. We are talking only about mirrorless cameras and the possibilities of mirrorless cameras. Now, obviously, the Olympus and the Pentax system, not Pentax, the Olympus and the Panasonic system will be out of the question here, because I like very much to shoot APS-C size. I don't really want to go to micro four thirds. I know it's a great system, micro four thirds system, in many situations even better than Fuji or Sony. But the problem is that I like APS-C size sensors, and in my opinion, micro four thirds sensors for portrait, which is my type of work, it's very difficult to compensate the sensor size. If you shoot APS-C, you can compensate the size of the sensor. You can compensate with faster glass. So if you want to shoot, let's say 85mm 1.4 on a full frame to shoot a portrait, you can shoot 85mm or 56mm f1.2 on APS-C, and that will act like 85mm 1.4 on a full frame. And this way you can compensate the sensor size. Now, obviously, even then, the full frame sensors will have some advantages dynamic range wise, and there are some other things, but the difference is very small, tiny bit. So I will show you in my computer some examples what I'm talking about and why I think that FujiFilm is a better system than the Sony system. Please, Sony followers, if you look at this video, don't be angry with me, don't be mad with me. This is my opinion, and I will show some facts why I think. And if you have something to add to this video, or you want to say something, leave a comment down below, but please leave in a polite manner. Don't call me any names or whatever. You can call it, but don't write over there. I don't like arguments. I don't like bad words, on my channel. So please respect my wish and don't comment badly in my video. Say your opinion. It's not an issue. If you don't agree with me, it's not an issue. But don't use bad language, please. So let's get into my computer, and I will show you some examples why I think that the FujiFilm system is better than the Sony system. Let's get into my computer. So we are in my computer now, and let's open up an internet browser, and let's see what I want to talk to you. I want to show to you why I think that FujiFilm is a better system than Sony. And I will prove over here in B&H photo video, because what I think, in my opinion, that FujiFilm is a more mature system than the Sony system. And why I think that? Because if you look at the FujiFilm lens selection, you will see that Fuji tried to create the same kind of lenses for APS-C, because obviously FujiFilm has only APS-C size cameras, and now they have the medium format. But they try to create the same lenses, which one are in full frame, and we can say that they are famous lenses, famous focal lengths, let's say, especially for portraits or even for wide angle, and you have in telephoto also some famous lenses. And what we are talking about? We are talking about 24mm f1.4, or we are talking about 24 to 70 f2.8, or 70 to 200 f2.8. We are talking about the 85mm f1.4. We are talking about the well, roughly these are the lenses. Which one they are very popular, I would say. And I am a portrait and wedding photographer. Now, if I go on a wedding, which lenses would I bring with me? Well, I would bring, obviously, I would bring a 24mm f1.4 prime lens. I would bring the 70 to 200. I would bring the 24 to 70, and I will bring another portrait lens, which is the 85mm f1.4. Now, all these lenses you can buy in Fujifilm system, but here comes the interesting side of it. If you check in Fujifilm, you will see that they created lenses which were actually made for APS-C, and they will be in such a manner that they will act like on full frame these famous lenses. And let's see what I'm talking about. So let's talk a little bit first about the Fujifilm 16 f1.4. You see over here, this is the lens, 16mm f1.4. Now this lens will act like 24mm f1.8 on a full frame, roughly f1.8 f2, let's say. So the depth of field will be like f1.8 f2, kind of that, you know, and 24mm. And this is one of the best lenses of in a Fujifilm system. It is a great lens, excellent lens. And as you can see, it's $999. Now, it's not the cheapest lens, but obviously it is a native lens, and it's a great lens. 24mm f1.4. It's a very expensive lens in any system. So let's get further down, and you will see over here, this is the 16 to 55 f2.8. Now this lens, it would be 24 to 80mm f2.8. Now this lens again is a famous lens, which is the 24 to it's over here, you can see 35mm equivalent, sorry, 24 to 82.5mm. Now the 2.8, and it is vibration reduction lens, so it has image stabilization, and I have to tell you that this lens is a must for a wedding and portrait photographer. Now you get again over here, and you see the 56mm f1.2. Now this is a portrait lens. This lens is it will act on an APS-C size camera. It will act like 85mm. You can see over here 35mm equivalent, 85mm f1.4, f1.5-ish, kind of like that, you know, it will act like that. Now this is a must lens. If you are a portrait photographer, you must own this lens, and it is possible. You can see the price is $999, which is, again, it's not cheap, but in the same time it is much more affordable than if you think that you want to buy in Nikon. If you want to buy 85mm 1.4, that lens, it will be 1,600 euro at least. That's the minimum, even more probably, but it's like that price. So let's get further down. You can see, if you want 35mm f1.4, you have over here 23mm f1.4. This is the 35mm equivalent. Now obviously the background blur, it will not be as 1.4 on a full frame. It will be more like f1.8, f1.9, f2, something like that. But still, you can get a nice and 35mm equivalent lens for $899. And all these lenses, oh, and here is the 70 to 200 equivalent. You see over here, 50 to 140 f2.8. Again, this is a 76 to 213mm 35mm equivalent, and this lens is 1,600 euro. Now obviously, if you buy for Nikon or Canon or for Sony, you know, if you buy a 70 to 200 lens for Nikon and Canon DSLRs, you know, it's easier because you can buy third-party lenses. But for Sony, the only 70 to 200 2.8 you can buy is the G Master, and that lens is almost $3,000. So what are we talking about then? Okay, that is a full frame lens, it's true, but do you have any other option for crop? No, you don't. So that's the problem. If, in my opinion, if you buy a Sony camera and if you buy in, if you get it yourself in the Sony system, your lens selection is limited because for APS-C they don't have fast lenses, only for full frame, and even those lenses which are for full frame, they are horribly expensive. Now you can see over here the example, and this is the Sony FE 70-200 f4 lens, which is an f4. It's not 2.8, it's f4, and that lens is $1,398. Now this lens is $1,600, but it's an f2.8 lens, so it's a big difference between that. Anyway, if we take again the Sony and you have a look at the 2.8 zoom lens, the G Master, here we go. You see that the price is $2,598. It is a great lens, obviously, but the price is $1,000 extra. If you look at the 24-70, here's the 24-70 f2.8. It is $2,198. And if you check the Fuji lens, the 24-70 version, there we go, it is $1,199. So the difference is 1,200 and 2,200, another €1,000 extra. So if we buy an 85mm f1.8 lens, let's say, yeah, 85mm f1.8, that will be $598. Or if you want to buy a 50mm f1.8, it will be $198. Or if you want to buy the Zeiss lens, which is the 50mm, 55 1.8, that is $898. So, but you don't have a 1.4 85 1.4 version for APS-C. You have only APS-C size, you have only 50mm 1.8. You have also a 35 1.4 Zeiss, which is full frame, but it's again very expensive. And you have a 50mm, if I'm not wrong, you have a 50mm 1.4, which is also Zeiss. There we go, here it is, yeah. So it's 50mm 1.4. This will be 75mm 1.8 f2-ish kind of, but this is like $1,400 again. Let's not even talk about the 85 1.4. It's $1,800. You know, this is very, very expensive. And here you can get the 56mm 1.2, which will act like a 1.4, 1.5-ish kind of on full frame, you know, and that's $1,000. So this is why I think, and again, if we talk about the camera bodies, yeah, let's talk only about the APS-C size. So don't really talk about the full frame, because Fujifilm doesn't have full frame, and I don't want to get into that, you know, because obviously that will be horribly expensive, you know. So I don't want to compare these cameras. They are different system. It's not an issue. But let's talk about APS-C size. And the APS-C size, you see the Alpha 6500, and that would be $1,400. If you check in Fuji, the Fuji X-T2, which is a much better camera than the Alpha 6500, and that is $1,600. So it's only a $200 difference between the Sony Alpha 6500 and the Fuji X-T2. And I think that nobody can complain about the fact that the Fuji X-T2 is a much better camera in any aspect than the Alpha 6500. So I think that price-wise, if we speak about the Sony system and the Fuji system is much better and much mature system than the Sony system. Now at the moment they don't have APS-C size lenses for that price, for good price like Fuji, but I'm sure that they will have in the future. I think that they will advance, and they advance day by day, you can see that, and they will make better lenses probably. I don't know if it will be cheaper, because Sony will I think all the time they will be an expensive system, but anyway, hopefully they will grow a little bit and they will have a fair competition to Fuji. Now, if we speak about the Alpha 6300, now this camera is very good. I had it in my hands, and I checked and I even compared with my A6000, because I had A6000, and honestly I think that there is no that's not a big difference between them. Focus wise it is a difference, autofocus wise, but other than that I don't think it's a very big difference, you know. So if you want to buy an A6000, A6300, better to buy an A6000, I would say. And this is $898, almost $900. Now, if we get to the Fuji, you see that near the X-T2 you have the X-T1 and the X-T1, the X-T20. The X-T20 is $900, and this camera, I own this camera, and I tell you, it is excellent. It is very, very good. I mean, the autofocus system is from the X-T2, and it's just brilliant. It is so good that it's unbelievable. Now, it's 14 frames a second, you know, and there are some 10 frames with mechanical shutter, 14 frames with electronic shutter. It's very, very good. Anyway, this is what I wanted to show you, and I think that, in my opinion, the Sony system is not as good because of the prices and because of the lens availabilities, and the Fuji system is a little bit better because of this. Now, like I said, this is my opinion. I don't want to create any arguments or anything else. You know, if you have different opinion, it's okay. You can share your opinion in the comment section, but please do it in a polite manner. And if you want to add something to this video, or you think that I forgot something about this, each of the system, doesn't matter, please leave a comment down below in a polite manner. And if you want to ask something about these two systems, leave a comment down below, and I try to answer as soon as possible, best of my knowledge. And other than that, I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.
Town to town, from London to Taiwan, I've been